Netflix and chill. Baby, I'm for real. I won't pull out if you want the pill. Baby, what's the deal? You wanna watch Netflix and chill? Baby, I'm for real. I won't pull out if you want the pill.
Hey guys, it is Carly here, back with episode number 13 of the Netflix and Chill Horror Podcast. As always, I'm joined with my main homie, JP. JP, how are you doing?
I'm doing alright, I guess. I'm not feeling the greatest, as you know, but I felt like recording might make me feel worse. And I'm a sadomasochist, so I decided to, let's do it. Let's do the damn thing, as they say.
Okay, that was a little too much information, but do you feel like puking, or do you feel like coughing and sneezing? What's going on, buddy?
I feel, one, I'm very extremely, hot. I'm just uncomfortably hot. And two, I'm kind of, in that stage where you just want to, lay there because your, stomach's upset feeling.
Yeah. Hope you feel better, buddy.
Thank you. So
welcome.
Tonight, we're back on our Netflix and Chill horror podcast grind. We did watch a movie probably about at least a week ago now. So it's probably a little rusty in my memory. You might remember it a little bit better than me.
Oh, we'll see.
The film we're talking about tonight is titled Don't Grow Up, and it's from the year 2015. But it had a, wide release in 2017 or 18, I guess it would be, on Shudder. It's a Shudder exclusive. We'll get into that in a moment, but there's one thing that I kind of wanted to update the listeners on, because we haven't been as current as we originally had planned. I wanted to do 20-some episodes in 2017, but we totally didn't, so we did a dozen. So hopefully going forward here, we'll do a little bit more. So one thing, since we've last recorded, we have ended 2017, which was a pretty solid year. You joined us on 22 Shots for our top 10 list, and as well as, saw a bunch of movies. What'd you think of streaming in 2017?
I mean, at the start of the year, of course, it was kind of weak. It didn't seem like there was all that much being put on, and the stuff that was being put on, I didn't really care for. But, then towards the end of the year, you got some great stuff, such as, Better Watch Out. I believe that was on Shudder. And then It Stains the Sands Red, and things like that. And, I mean, all in all, I think it turned out to be pretty solid. It just got kind of a slow start, but I did like what I saw for the most part.
Yeah, I do remember when we first started last year at the beginning of 2017, we were covering films from 2016 because there just wasn't that much new stuff streaming. But after just 2-3 weeks into 2018, there's already, 4 or 5 episodes worth of material in terms of new films. So that's pretty cool. And the first one we picked here was a Shudder exclusive. Before I Wake came on Netflix, which is Mike Flanagan's film that actually leaked online about 2 years ago in 2016. And some people had it on their list back then, most notably Brandon from Exploding Heads. So that's one I'm very interested in checking out. So that's probably going to be a future episode of Netflix and Chill. Don't know how we're going to do these. I guess this was my pick. Was it even my turn to pick?
What did we even do before this? I don't remember. No, it wasn't your turn, so you got 2 turns. Good for you.
Oh, damn it. All right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're a little slow on the picks. That's why I just...
Homie, I don't know. You just come at me. You're like, hey, I know it's been a year since we recorded, but we're going to do this week. So I'm just like, oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know your schedule.
Yeah. Actually, you do know my schedule.
I mean, whatever. Yeah, it's hectic.
Yeah, it is hectic right now. But what else was I saying here? Another bit of interesting news type things happened recently. Just very recently, as in yesterday, and it was 2 days ago actually. basically, there was a tweet put out by the wonderful Joe Bob Briggs. Now, some of you might not be familiar with Joe Bob Briggs, but essentially he was the host of this kind of horror program block on TNT back in, I think he started in the mid-90s all the way up to like 2000, but it existed before that, like kind of early 90s, and it was called Monster Vision, and basically he just hosted movies in his trailer drinking Old Milwaukee, and he would talk about the movies during the break. So like you would get all kind of cool horror films late at night. Like the original start of Monster Vision was no horror host, and it was more like bad black and white monster movies. But then as it got, you know, updated, they started doing a lot more modern, like 80s and 90s stuff. And some films actually had their network debut on Monster Vision, such as Ice Cream Man. And he would just host these movies, and I had such a amazing memory of Monster Vision. Like, it's one of my favorite memories in terms of horror. It's one of the main reasons I became a horror fan, truly. I watched it religiously every Saturday. It was my like, I would get so bummed out if I missed Monster Vision. Like it would just, you know. What years did these run to? Was it only in the 90s? I think the last episode, they didn't like say that it was the last episode. It would just, all of a sudden, it just never came on again. Was Children of the Corn 2: The Final Sacrifice, which I believe aired in like September of like 2000 or something like that.
Dang, I would have been 3.
Yeah, so you weren't watching these, but I sure was. I was really into them. I was, I guess, 9 at that time, so heavy into my horror love at that point. And I gotta say that I was so bummed when it went away. I didn't know why. There was like, I didn't have access to internet back then, so I just kind of was expecting it to come back. Like maybe it was like, oh, it'll come back in the winter or something. It just never came back.
Yeah.
But it was partially due to TNT, I believe, wanting to change their programming from, I guess, action-oriented, horror-oriented, like, you know, explosive type of manly stuff to a more dramatic network. And they got a lot of like Law and Order and different things like that. But this was not the only program like this. USA also had a network called Up All Night, and that was pretty cool. I didn't see a ton of that. I didn't really know about it, but this was stuff that truly like sparked my love for horror, and I was so sad to see it go. And for years, I've wanted another horror host. I believe back in like 2008, I believe Elvira was still on in the air. No, was it Elvira? I can't remember. It might have been a local one from Pittsburgh that was still doing stuff, and you could see that online actually. And it was mostly public domain movies. And then I remember Elvira did a few things for like Full Moon and stuff like that, and Elvira's a pretty cool horror host, but it was nothing compared to like what I liked, which was Joe Bob, because he was just different. He didn't have like a gimmick, like he did kind of have a gimmick, but it wasn't like Elvira or Vampira or Spanguli or any of those people, you know. It was more of a laid back, like, I'm just here watching movies and I'm gonna talk about them. And he's like a really well-known, like, I guess, horror critic / just drive-in movie enthusiast. He might have had some books and stuff like that, but he's known in the horror community. And to kind of get into like what actually happened, he basically tweeted out that, and I remember this a few weeks ago, somebody had posted a tweet where somebody had asked him, like, hey, you should do, like, another horror hosting thing. And he answered back, there actually might be something in the works. And everybody was kind of like, ears perked up, you know, like, what's going on? And then he tweeted this week that apparently the Shudder Network is interested in him doing a sort of horror block type thing, or doing some kind of horror hosting in some capacity. And that got me super excited, but I didn't really understand. In the tweet he said they want video testimonials from fans to be emailed, but the email address is like Joe Bob's email, so it's kind of weird. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not sure what exactly like that will prove or whatever, because not everybody, just like the people who make videos aren't the same people who watch Shudder, right? Like, yeah, there's probably people that watch Shudder that also make videos, but I mean, like, to ask somebody to make a video seems like,
Yeah, people are shy. Like,
Yeah.
they might want it real bad, but they're not a lot of people will not make videos. Like, for the longest time, I wouldn't make videos. So, yeah, that's kind of a weird technique.
yeah, I made a video. I haven't seen anybody else make one. So if you're listening and you make videos, even if it's a private video, just email it to that email, dude. Like, for real, this would be amazing to happen. And what's super cool is actually about a year ago and some change, I actually tweeted Shudder and I said, hey, you guys should get like a horror host for like Friday nights. I suggest the great Joe Bob Briggs. I'm just saying. The guy who got Shudder on Xbox also just so happened to tweet that at Shudder a year ago, and now it seems like there's some movement on it. I'm just saying, yo. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. You might be the one, but you know, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's super neat. You know, I have a feeling that it's not going to happen, but I would just love it to happen. Shudder has just been my favorite place to watch movies lately. Like, besides I'm having minor inconveniences with their app on my phone. Every time I start their app up, it literally restarts my phone. I can't watch movies on the app anymore on my phone, which really annoys me. So hopefully they get that squared away soon. But I really like their new programming, their Shudder original, The Core.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we talked about that last time. Did we talk about that last time?
I don't think. I don't even know that it was out
I
yet.
think it was, because that was around Halloween time when it aired.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, I mean,
anyway, I think I have 2 episodes left. I want to do an episode talking about it more extensively. It could just be a segment, or it could be a full conversation on The Core. You just need to watch the rest of the episodes. I just find them so addicting. I actually make myself not watch them because I'm like scared that I'll run out and it'll never come back, which I will run out.
How many episodes are there total?
I think 11. There's
Okay.
10 regular and then 1 special, but if it does well, then we'll see another season. Like,
Yeah,
you remember Primal Screen or whatever that was on there? That only was 1 episode? I don't think that did so well.
See, I actually enjoyed that too, so that kind of sucks.
Yeah, it did kind of suck. But I just feel like people aren't vocal enough when they like stuff. Like, I try to tweet out when I like stuff, or I try to post it on Facebook or talk about it on a podcast, but we're different people than the average person who doesn't have podcasts and doesn't.
Yeah, I don't think people really know to do that. Like, I think they just assume, like, oh, these people are gonna either make new episodes or they aren't, and it's not gonna have anything to do with our opinion. But in reality, it does. Like, if you're not getting views, then they're not gonna bother. But yeah, I mean, the more people need to kind of reach out with, especially with like stuff like that.
Yeah, because Shudder sees it. Like, if you tag them in the post, they're gonna see it, and they're gonna even if it's only 30 people that does it, you got to look at it this way. If nobody tweets anything about anything else, then even if it's 30 people, 30 people watching it, if they got 30 views on it, it's going to be terrible. But they're going to notice, like, oh, that's weird. Like, 30 people tweeted us about this when normally nobody tweets us about anything. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to seem significant to them. So I say hit up Shudder anytime you like something that they're doing, and hit them up if you don't like stuff too. But for the most part, I think that if we speak loud enough, if everybody tells Shudder that they want this Joe Bob thing to happen, it'll happen. And if nobody says anything and it doesn't happen, then I don't want to hear any more complaining about like people wanting stuff like that, because you had your chance, and if not enough people want it, then they're not going to do it. And if nobody says anything, then rightfully so, they shouldn't make it. But yeah, so please, just do me a favor and get it on there for me, damn it. I would love it. I would so love it. And it would be interesting to see what movies he picked and talked about and stuff, like in a modern setting. I think that would be dope. So that's that, guys. Now, the other thing that I wanted to bring up before we get into our review is just general, have you been watching anything on streaming?
Hold on, let me look. As of like the new year, I really honestly have not been, because like after like
So you're a
watching a
slacker.
million. No, after watching like a million 2017 movies, I was finally like, wow, I'm free, and then like I can watch whatever I want kind of phase. So I've been watching that pile of movies you gave me for one thing. I mean, I gotta get those watched. But yeah, I think the last thing I actually watched was It Stains the Sands Red, and like I said, I'm having difficulty getting my Shutter to connect to my TV right now, so it's like been really like annoying. So like, once I get that all fixed up, I'm gonna start watching.
Did you even try to Google what the problem is?
Yeah, and all it says to do is, did you try unplugging it and plugging it back in? And like, I did, but I'll get it figured out. I'm sure.
Did you try it on a different TV?
No, I mean, I don't think my other TV works out that way.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, like, hopefully it isn't broken or anything like that.
I know, because it was just because my power like went out, and like it's like a Wi-Fi issue. It won't connect to my Wi-Fi or something. But anyway, yeah, I haven't been really on Netflix too much either as of now. I kind of suck. But what about you?
Yeah, I've watched a lot of things streaming. Honestly, like this has been the greatest like 2-3 weeks break from podcasting, or at least the 22 Shots, because 22 Shots posted our year-end show, and then like we normally do, we take a few weeks off just because we were on such a monstrous run and monstrous prep that it's like let's take a week off. And then we took a week off, and then we were supposed to record today, but Moods got sick, so we skipped that, and next thing you know, it's going to be 3 weeks in between recording. So I'll have a whole nother week of watching, because I'm already caught up on everything I need to watch except for one film for the next podcast. So I'll have another free week to watch whatever I want. And
Yeah.
I will say this. It has been awesome watching whatever I want. I've watched screeners. I'm all caught up on my screeners. I've watched 1976 films, which is for the next top 10 retro podcast that we're doing with Exploding Heads. That's going to take place sometime in like March or April. And I watched just whatever I wanted in between that. And it's been great. It's been so good. I watched some stuff streaming. I watched one film of note was the documentary. I believe it's called You're So Cool, Brewster?
That sounds familiar.
Fright Night documentary, I believe. It was like, I didn't realize it, but it was like 2.5 hours or something like that. It was like 2 hours and 20 minutes, and that was pretty cool. Like, that made me appreciate the film a little bit more. Also, it has a lot of interviews from Amanda Bierce, who of course was Marcy in Married with Children, which I'm part of a Married with Children podcast, so it was kind of interesting. We interviewed her before, or they interviewed her, and I sat there awkwardly and tried to get a word in every once in a while. But yeah, it was cool to see her talking about stuff, and she's so cool and nice and stuff like that, so that was neat. So I watched that on Shudder. That's available on Shudder, by the way. There was another thing that I watched streaming as well. It was on YouTube. It was Friday the 13th Part 3, the Memoriam documentary. That's that new Friday the 13th documentary that came out.
Oh yeah, I wanna see that.
It was alright. It was short. It was, I think it was like 40 minutes or something like that. And it mostly was a documentary on the actor who played Jason in Part 3, Brooker or something. I don't know my Jasons that well. I know Kane Hodder.
I know C.J. Graham,
That's
Kane
Part
Hodder,
6.
Ted White,
Part 4.
are First Jason.
First
Yeah.
Jason.
But yeah.
Just call him First Jason because that's what he likes to go by.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that Ken Kersinger was Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah.
Jason, and Derek Mears was the remake Jason. So the only one I'm missing is part 5, 2, and 3, I think.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. It was alright. I think it was like fan made. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a super professional documentary, but I mean, considering it was fan made, it was really good. And I think that's all that I watched streaming. Besides, I don't know if this is still streaming. I didn't watch it while it was streaming, but it was on streaming at one point on Shudder. And this doc is awesome. It's really good. It's called Video Nasties, Moral Panic, Censorship, and Videotape. And this documentary is a doc on the video nasties of, I guess, Britain. And basically, it just chronicles the history of, like, the huge uproar and the censorship that went on with videotapes in the 1980s, I believe, and how it became illegal to rent or own these films to the point where it actually, people were getting fined and going to jail for it. How crazy is that?
It's pretty wild, my friend.
Yeah, so the documentary is on Shudder still. Severin put it out. I highly recommend checking it out if you've never seen it. It is really awesome. I would like you to see it. Oh, actually, this might be the that might be volume. Oh, okay. So both volumes are on there, volume 1 and volume 2. So the documentary is 72 minutes, and it is really cool. I'll say this: it is absolutely crazy that this happened. It's nuts. It's really weird that so many people were involved, and it was like a national thing in Britain. And they talked about these video nasty parties where kids would invite their friends and try to get the most messed up tape to the party. And that basically they literally were saying that people will, this is going to make your children turn into serial killers, essentially.
Right.
Watching this stuff. And whenever somebody would question them, well, you've seen it, why aren't you turning into a serial killer? They would say, like, because they were, intelligent or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, they would basically use that as a thing. And I started watching it. I finished the documentary. The Severin DVD has 3 discs, and on the second disc is such an amazing thing. So the second disc, which I shouldn't be talking about this because it's not streaming, but it's kind of related because this is on streaming. The second disc is not on streaming, but watch the documentary. If you like it, pick up the Severin DVD set, because the second disc has every one of the prosecuted video nasties, which is there were 72 of them, or I believe there were 72 of them, and it has the trailer. And then, well, actually, it has a bunch of people talking about the movie, and then it shows the trailer, and it goes through all of them. And it's not just like a little clip of somebody talking about the movie. It's like they're talking about the movie, like almost like a behind-the-scenes bonus feature about that movie. They're talking about it, how it was made, where it came from, what might have caused it to get banned. It so fascinating. That runs like 4 hours. I only watched a half hour of it, but it's something that I truly want to keep watching when I have more time. It's so neat, man. I'm so glad I picked those up from Bull Moose. I got them for $10 each, dude. But both volumes. There's 3 discs in each volume, so it's six discs total. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with that. So if you guys want to check that out, for sure. And then the only other thing that I was watching, dude, Forensic Files. I've been watching a ton of that on Netflix.
Oh my god, like 58 episodes a day.
Yeah, dude. I mean, here's the thing. It's put in collections, like not seasons. There's 9 collections, and there's like, there's probably like 20 or 30 episodes or even more per collection. So what I'll do is I started from collection 1. I just hit play and I watch them, and I might watch like 2 or 3 episodes before I fall asleep, and then it'll just play another 2 or 3, and then it'll shut off like Netflix does that. Are you still watching thing?
Yeah.
And then when I come back to it, I don't go back to the episode I left off on. I just hit play wherever it left off. So I'm missing a bunch of them. Like, like in season 1 or collection 1, I probably only watched about half of that. But then I moved on to collection 2. And probably what I'll do is I'll double back after I make it to collection 9. And I'll just skip the ones that I've seen already or whatever. But I love it, man. It is like the perfect show to watch to go to sleep to. Like if you get a boring episode, you'll start nodding off, but then every once in a while you'll get that exciting episode. You're like, holy crap, I can't believe this happened. Like, this guy buried his wife in his house and covered the floor with concrete. Like, there was this crazy one where this woman was murdered in front of her kids in 1975. The daughter, 30 years later, came and said, when I was 5 years old, she walked into a police station and said, when I was 5 years old, I seen my dad kill my mom and bury her in the backyard. And so she takes the police, to the house where there's new people living in, and she explains that her dad, after he murdered his wife, the next day put a patio in and covered her with cement. And I'm like, how did the investigators not investigate, like, oh, this guy's wife's missing. Hey, did you just put a patio in yesterday after your wife is missing? Like, maybe we need to dig that up. And so, you know, and they dig her up, and she's there, and they do the DNA test, and it's her, and they arrest this 61-year-old dude who was free for like 40 years or 30 years or something for murdering his wife. They finally found her body and arrested him, and oh yeah, that guy also set the house on fire like a year after he murdered his wife and killed 4 out of his 5 kids.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Turns out that the girl survived, and she's the one that turned him in 30 years later or whatever. But
why did it say why she waited till she was like 30 years old?
She was scared of her dad. He said, if you ever told anybody, I'll kill you or something.
Oh, I hate that. Like, I'd be telling on you. Shut up.
That was one of the more crazy ones. There was so many good ones, though. Like, I could probably Forensic Files a podcast, but
dude, like, not to make this into a crime show, but did you hear about like how like that couple had 13 kids that they like kept chained in their basement for like years, and they were all like, I was looking at that, and it's like there's so many pictures of them like out and about, like with like Santa Claus and stuff, you know. So it's like, I don't know how that works, but then again, that case a couple years ago with the 3 girls tied up in the house that was like in the middle of like Ohio, like in a neighborhood, that was crazy too. But yeah, sometimes the people can just do stuff like right under everybody's nose and nobody notices. Pretty crazy. I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer almost got caught like 4 times, but yeah. So the last thing that I wanted to throw out here before we get into it, last 2 things actually. One, Amazon Prime is upping their monthly fee from $10.99 to $11.99. So another $2, which actually makes me extremely mad because I do the monthly with Amazon Prime, and it upsets me because now I don't know if it's worth it, because I do watch streaming on there and I do order stuff, but I don't think I order enough stuff to pay for the 2-day shipping, and I don't watch enough stuff to pay for the Prime. So I might cancel, but I'm really bummed about that, because $10.99 I felt like I was just getting my money's worth with the amount I would watch and the amount I'd order. But now I'm to the point where, like, I don't know, like, that's near $15. It just doesn't seem worth it to me. I don't watch enough stuff on Amazon Prime, but yeah, I mean, maybe I'll do the year subscription eventually, but that's going up to $100, I think. I thought it was at $100, but I could be wrong. So yeah, that bums me out pretty bad. If you're a student, you get a discount though. I know that. Ah, cool.
Yeah. So, and the last thing I wanted to throw out is the challenge has ended, the 2017 challenge. I beat your ass.
Uh-huh. Not that much. I kept a pretty good pace, though. You can't deny it.
Yeah, it's like, if you count where you're at compared to where I was at, you know, this is only your second year attempting it.
Yeah.
And you did better numbers than I did on my fourth year attempting it.
Yeah, you literally, like, talk all this, like, you made yourself out to be this big, like, horror fan, but, like, I'm thinking, like, okay, you've been doing this for, like, 4 years, and, your biggest goal was, like, 250, and I like, whooped that, so I don't know. I don't know if you're real, fake, I don't know what's going on.
I whooped everything this year. I ended up at 334, I think? 335, somewhere around there.
Uh-huh.
And you ended up where?
316.
Yeah, so that we're talking about the amount of movies that we watched over the course of a year. I don't know about you, but I'm already doing pretty good.
I think I'm doing pretty good. What are you at right now?
I am at, I will tell you in a second. Those of you who don't know, we do this challenge every year where we bet each other how many movies we watch, and I won. I won, guys. And basically, she lost her microwave for 6 months. If she would have won, I think you were going to take away my caffeine, or my Monsters energy drinks for that amount. I'm at 25 already.
I'm at 22.
It's actually pretty good. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I just, like, I've been watching something, like, every night, really, but I've mainly been, like, watching DVDs. I'll tell you, my goal, like, this year for, like, streaming is to actually watch TV shows, because so many people, well, not so many people, like, I have, like, 1 or 2 friends in particular who will be like, hey, you should check this out on Netflix, and I'll be like, yeah, totally, I'll do that, and then I don't do it, so, like, I'm gonna try to actually do that and stop being, like, an a-hole about it.
Yeah, I feel you. So I watched like 2 a day for a little bit. So like the first I didn't watch any. The second I watched 2. Third I watched 2. The fourth, fifth I watched 2, and then I skipped the 6th altogether. I watched 2 on the 7th, skipped the 8th, 2 on the 9th. Then I watched 1 on the 10th, 3 on the 11th, 1 on the 12th, 1 on the 15th, 3 on the 16th, 3 on the I skipped the 17th, and I went straight to the 18th with 3.
Okay, dude, we get it. You have a letterbox.
Yeah, I love it. Check it. Do you have one yet?
No, I'll get it tomorrow.
You're slacking. You're not going to know when you watch things.
I don't need to know when. I could tell by my lists, like, on my phone, just go back and be like, oh, I remember when I watched this at the middle of the year.
Yeah, but this actually has the date you watched it.
Yeah, I'll get it tomorrow, I swear.
Slacker, just like you slack in everything else we do.
Stop, I don't, I swear.
Alright, let's get into this featured review. We have the Shudder exclusive Don't Grow Up from the year 2015, getting its wide release in 2018. Yeah, that's right. 2018, and it was directed by who?
Oh my god. I'm gonna say it is Thierry Poirot.
Poirot?
Maybe. Yeah.
Nailed it. No, I don't think that was a good attempt, but this
Why don't you try it out, buddy?
No, this film is from France and Spain. Was this in English?
Wait, was it? Yes, it was. Wait, no, it wasn't. Oh god.
Yeah, I think it was English, right? Yeah, it was English. I don't remember reading subtitles.
Yeah, it was. It was.
So, the director of this film, has he done anything else that you know of?
Hold on. I gotta look.
No, he hasn't. But,
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, so he did Goal of the Dead, which apparently looks like which is funny because Holliston was about a soccer team zombie film, so it's probably somebody actually made that. And the writer Marie Garel Wise, she did some stuff that's in French. She also did Goal of the Dead. So that's pretty much it. I don't know anything about this guy. But I will tell you this. This is very interesting. Now, when I added this film to my letterbox, I typed in Don't Grow Up, right?
Right.
And Don't Grow Up popped up. And Don't Grow Up from the year 2015 has an alternate title of Alone.
I see that on the poster here.
Now, check this out. In 2017, a film called Alone came out. And its original title, Don't Grow Up.
It's a different movie?
It's a different movie.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that's messed up.
But also, here's the plot of Alone. 5 kids wake up in a world where everybody has disappeared.
Oh my god.
And check this out. The cover is awfully similar to that of Don't Grow Up. It features 5 kids on the cover holding weapons, but they're on a rooftop in this one.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is
I just
remake.
looked it up to
because they look like the same type of kids too. You know, there's 2 girls, 3 boys, 1 black dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I feel like they have to be related somehow.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's a remake, honestly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because, that's too... Even, just the fact that, the alternate title is, the same alternate title and they're, not close together titles, that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it all, honestly. And honestly, so the original film, Don't Grow Up, was from France and Spain, and Alone was from France and Belgium. So possible. But the Don't Grow Up is listed as drama, horror, sci-fi, and Alone is fantasy sci-fi.
Oh, okay.
And apparently it was based on a comic book. So I don't know, man. I have no idea, but that is very weird. I just thought I would throw that out there. So we're talking about Don't Grow Up, though. And what is this film about?
Okay, well, IMDb here says it is the story about a group of youths who can't face the thought of growing up because anyone who does becomes a rampaging zombie. Yeah, basically you got these kids in this, I guess it's a home. They're, on an island in this, mental, I don't know what you would call it.
I was kind of wondering if it was a mental hospital or an orphanage for disturbed youth or something.
Yeah, it's they don't. I think it's definitely an orphanage, foster type situation, and they're also disturbed. So it's a psychiatric care type place, and they wake up and the adults aren't around, and they're kind of just doing what they want and things like that for a while.
No, I might have missed this, but. Do they actually wake up and even say that, hey, the adults are all gone, or do they just start messing around?
Not that I noticed.
First I got this, I took this movie at the beginning as, oh, they've been doing this for a while, and now they're, out of food and stuff, so they need to go somewhere else.
Yeah,
they don't really say, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Is this, the first day?
Your idea kind of makes sense. I thought it was supposed to be the first day because I think the even description on Shudder says group of kids wake up, there's no one around, and I was really confused too. I thought I missed something because they're all just goofing off everything's fine. They're not even acknowledging the fact that no adults are around. They don't say whoop-de-doo, there's no one here. They're just
it also doesn't make sense that there would be no adults around that had turned into zombies there, right? In order for this to happen, every person who was an adult would have had to not be there when the zombie apocalypse thing started.
Yeah.
Unless we get the sense that they have, killed the ones that were there and they're now out of food. But they don't play it out like that. So I was kind of what?
Mm-hmm. Just the way they're acting is, doesn't give you any signs whatsoever, really.
Yeah. So I thought this movie was going to be really, really cool at first because it sounded to me like a coming of age, almost, Stand By Me, Super Dark Times, that. But I was thinking more of like kidulthood or kids, or like because it's dealing with like a disturbed youth type thing, or like one of those type of movies where, you know, like it doesn't, like it's not like good kids, you know, growing up. It's like, you know, the kind of scum of the earth kids growing up. But you know, have you seen any of those movies I just mentioned? Have you seen Kidulthood?
That's a real movie, Kidulthood?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
There's a sequel called Adulthood.
Ah.
It's like a British film. It just basically follows a bunch of kids around, like, in their British area, being, you know, smoking pot and drinking, and kind of like the movie Kids a little bit, but like more grounded and less like almost doc filling. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen any of those like Kids or those movies I know you like, but like I have seen obviously Super Dark Times and like Stand By Me and coming of age films, and I totally agree. Like by the description of this film, I thought it was going to turn out to be just like that, and I was really excited for it.
Yeah, and instead what we get is kind of a little bit of a like boring generic zombie film with really good shots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely like, I don't know if artsy would be the word, but like it's got like just a cool atmosphere to it, but it's also a pretty, you know, short movie. It says it's like 81 minutes on here. I want to say it was maybe even like a little bit shorter than that, but and I feel like it kind of didn't benefit from that. Like I feel like it could have like been better if they would have put more time and effort into these characters and gave more background on what was going on, because I kind of was confused for some parts in the movie.
I don't know. Like what were you confused about? Do you remember?
Like the you know, well, like first of all, you don't know how long they've been there if they just woke up for that day, and then second of all, like
that one.
Okay. That was kind of douchey, but anyway, and second of all, like, the zombie thing, like, I don't understand, okay, unless I missed something, like, these kids are afraid to turn 18 or whatever because they're gonna turn into zombies. Was there, like,
I don't think that it's specifically 18. I think it's just the concept of being an adult. I'm not.
But
it's.
I think
weird.
it is though, because like the one dude keeps saying like, "I'm not sick. It's not even my birthday yet," or something like that. Like someone keeps bringing up the fact that it's not their birthday yet.
Yeah, which is why
like,
it leaves me to believe that, unless he was lying, but it leads me to believe that it's like doesn't have to do with that.
I don't know why, because I just assumed like these kids were all about to be of age soon, and that's they get to leave like they're adults and they can leave like the foster care at that point, and like I don't know, I just thought that was like what they were trying to do, and then the zombie thing didn't really make sense because it's like, why are all the adults suddenly zombies then if they were normal before that?
Well, I think that they're all zombies because when they're adults, and that's the concept.
I know, like the adults become zombies, but what made them become, like, why aren't the kids like zombies? Like, what made it? Is this just an outbreak of adult? Yet. But the adults weren't zombies before that. You're led to believe.
Yeah, but whatever the, you know, whether it's supernatural, whether it's an infection, whether it's, you know, whatever. It might only affect adults. You know what I mean?
Okay, I just would have liked more, like, background on this outbreak and what exactly happened to make all the adults suddenly have this issue.
Yeah, I mean, I could have used that, but at the same time, like, sometimes I'm cool with not explaining that. Like, I mean, I'm sure that there are some, like, okay, here's what I'm saying. Like, you know that 18 becoming adults is just something humans created, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's something that in this country, we put a date on when you're an adult. So what I'm saying is if it was some sort of thing that affected people that's brains matured to this level, or people's that, you know, I don't know the differences between adolescents and adults. Like, we clearly know it's not just puberty, because these kids have clearly gone through puberty. So, it has to be something else. And I don't know if there's something that you get when you are a certain level of maturation. But if there is, maybe it's people with that. You know what I mean? So I'm saying I think the kids had the idea that it was like once you turn 18, but I'm saying scientifically that would make zero sense.
Well, I also think this movie, well, it's obviously just like kind of a big metaphor for like you never want to grow up and you're like afraid of the unknown and stuff like that, which is cool and all.
It is cool and all. I do feel like it was a little bit like eye-rolly though, because it's like it was so much like that. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't subtle. It was like
it reminded me of like the show Codename Kids Next Door on Cartoon Network.
I hate
what I'm talking.
You watch the worst.
I wasn't
cartoons.
a fan of it. That was not one of my favorites. It was just like on TV sometimes, and I would watch it. But that's what I got out of this, because like
I seen a video the other day, just to let you know, that pretty much blamed the downfall of Nickelodeon on one that is a rectangle with holes in it, color yellow.
SpongeBob.
Yes.
Yeah, like after 2005, SpongeBob got bad. SpongeBob was around in '99 though. So
I know,
like,
but everybody says that was the downfall of
who is this? You just saw some idiot who lives in his mom's basement making a YouTube video.
It made sense, damn it.
It probably got a bunch of thumbs down. All his other videos he probably doesn't have any other ones. He probably sucks. So you're dumb.
No, I'm not dumb.
SpongeBob is great up until 2005, okay?
I like SpongeBob, but I'm saying
you're
that
a
they
fake
went
SpongeBob fan
with it. Get it? Overboard?
Oh my god. No. I don't get it, okay? Let's just move on. I'm angry now.
So I do agree. The metaphorical, like, hey, the fear of growing up is quite literally a fear. Like, you have a fear of growing up because you become a zombie. You fear that now, when often everybody has a fear of growing up to begin with. So it's like kind of like you manifest the fear into a actual thing that can hurt you instead of just a thought. Kind of cool, but at the same time, I almost felt like it was cheesy at a certain point.
Yeah, me too. It kind of, I don't know, like towards the end of this movie, it gets almost like romantic, like something you would see out of like Twilight type movies, or like, I don't know, just very teenager-ish.
I feel like they had a lot of opportunities here to impress. Like, I think that if they had made the kids a little bit more edgier, have a little bit more personality, have a little bit more of that, you know, think they know everything vibe. Like, it doesn't seem to focus on them much until there's two left, you know what I mean? And then it's like, that's when they develop characters and things like that. But I thought early on, when it was like, they should have kept all of them alive a little bit longer and had sort of this, almost like I was hoping for more of like a Lord of the Flies type scenario or something along those lines.
Are you serious right now?
What?
You know what Lord of the Flies is?
Do you not?
No, I do. It's just like, you actually read that book and
I read the book, and I've seen both movies. It's a classic.
I'm just shocked that you, like, actually read the book.
Why? I've read more books than you, damn it.
I didn't read, like, any of the books in English class, so I was like, wow, Lord of the Flies, what a reference.
Did you actually read that one?
I'm trying to...
Don't lie. She's about to lie.
I had to obviously skim over it to answer my study guide question.
Dude,
I know what it's about. Like there's something to do with a pig head.
Oh
and,
God!
Like,
you
they're
don't
on an
get
island.
The concept of this movie, man.
It's been a while. It's been a while. Okay.
Oh man, there's a lot of real shit in that book.
I was a slacker in high school, and I also read like
you're
I like
to the king of slackers.
Dude, I like to. The thing is, in high school, I was also like a loser, and I like to actually like read books on my own time. So it would make me angry when I had to read a book for class too, when I wanted to be reading something that like I was actually interested in. So like I would just be like, screw this.
I wish I could just drop that meme where it's that Asian dude that like yells like "gay."
This is not a meme cast, JP.
Because like that's what you remind me of right now when you just said all that bullshit.
Dude, you are both fake and gay, so I don't know how you're coping with life.
How was I fake and gay?
You just are both fake and gay all the time. Both.
Whatever.
Okay, anyway, where even were we? Okay, Lord of the it reminds you of that. You wanted it to be like that, and I agree.
Not necessarily 100%, but I'm saying, like, there could have been some turmoil between the kids, or there could have been just more of, like, I didn't get a strong, like, adolescence in this experience. You could have just literally, besides the fact that, like, they are afraid to get older, it just feels like they're regular people. Like, the whole, like, I feel like the concept and what you should be focused on is the fact that they are kids with underdeveloped thinking and you know.
I wanted more, like, background on, like, everyone's lives, kind of, because it's like, they're all at this place, they all obviously had some, like, rough upbringing to get them to this place, and all you really get is, like, stuff on literally just, like, the one boy character towards the end, like, not even really the girl so much, and it's just, like, I don't know, I just feel like you said, missed opportunities, because I love, like, when they put, like, mental illness and just, like, these, like, rough, like, dynamics into films, and they really just don't do it for me.
Whoa. I agree.
Whoa. Agree. Cool. I'm glad.
So, yeah, I don't really know what else to say, man.
Yeah, it's just...
It was a disappointing movie. It's by no means bad. One of the things that I really liked in the movie, like if you even just go to IMDb, that shot of them walking down the road with the bicycle with the foggy, huge, you know, like trees in the background and stuff. That's awesome. There was some really nice cinematography in this film, and I felt like that for the most part I liked the characters. Like not like them, but I liked their acting. I liked their looks. Like, I thought the film was casted well in terms of that. I just thought the characters were not written particularly great.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like, you got this group of characters, and then, like, they just take the focus and put it on, like, a few main characters towards the end. And it's just, I don't know, it was just a weird way to take the story. It kind of turns more drama romance, and it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, early on when they're in the actual, like, hospital or orphanage and they're, like, dicking around and, like, drinking Jack Daniels and smoking pot and stuff like that, I like those parts. I was like, okay, this feels like the movie, and that's why I told you to watch it, because I started there and I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. I didn't even know it was about zombies until later, but yeah, it was. I was really enjoying it at that point, and it just kind of didn't go so well after that. But it was all right. It's not the worst movie in the world, but
yeah, definitely not. But it was kind of just like forgettable to me, I guess.
Yeah, like this is technically the first 2018 movie I watched this year, and off to a bad start, or an average start, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, but like, you know, the beginning of the year, I feel like there's a lot of like rocky movies up in there, so hopefully things will get better. But yeah, you know, obviously it wasn't terrible, so that's a plus. I hate when I start off with like a terrible movie, because then I'm just like, oh, I don't even feel like watching movies now. But like, you know, pretty average.
Yeah. So, do you want to jump into ratings here?
Yes. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
My pick, you go.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, this movie was just very, like, I guess, like, the word would be kind of bland and disappointing for, like, the description you're given. You think you're going into, like, this great, like, coming-of-age type film, and it just missed a lot of marks for me. Like JP kept saying, the cinematography is very well done in it, and I know I keep calling it like average, but I did give it a 6 out of 10, so a little above average for me, just because I thought it was visually appealing and the acting was pretty well done. So yeah, 6 out of 10.
Yeah, just so happens that is the exact same rating that I gave this film. Not the greatest movie, but not bad either. It's passable. Like I wasn't, because it's so short. I wasn't mad that I watched it or anything.
Yeah,
and I was entertained enough. I just, by the end of it, I had a lot left to be desired. Yeah, just All right, I guess. So that's it for episode number 13 of the Netflix and Chill Horror Podcast. We will hopefully be back very soon. I think that we will cover maybe a Netflix film or maybe that Shudder series. There's definitely some things out there to check out and to record reviews on. So hopefully we could get right back into it and it doesn't take too long to do another one.
We always say this. Let's just say, like, hey, we're never going to do an episode again, and then maybe, like, that'll prompt us to get them out faster. The opposite approach.
I think that we could do one.
Yeah. Do one.
Whoa. I just noticed something else.
Whoa, what?
There's another film. This has to be an issue with Letterboxd. Because there's another film called Alone that's ultimate title is Don't Grow Up.
That's good. Dude, I don't know, man. Like, I believed you at first, but I feel like that's
And then the first review says, Alone 2015 is a Hindi remake of a 2007 Thai film with the same name. So,
oh my god.
I have no idea where this is going, but Jesus. Alright.
Should have did a triple review.
No.
Okay. Triple feature, whatever.
Alright, dog. I will see you next time. I hope you guys enjoyed Netflix and Chill Horror Podcast. I had fun. This was a good time. I'm glad I did this. I feel a little less sick.
Yeah, it's always a good time when you're spending it with me, buddy.
Get out of here.
Okay.
Baby, what's the deal? You wanna watch Netflix and chill? Baby, I'm for real. I won't pull out if you want the pill. Baby, what's the deal? You wanna watch Netflix and chill? Baby, I'm for real. I won't pull out if